Greetings, my name is Andy, and here is another yoga class themes video. Continuing along our path in the alphabet series, we've made it, we're here to the letter I. Per usual, there are a ton of words that start with the letter I, and as always, I find it difficult to narrow it down, but indeed, I did. I chose 3 words that start with the letter I as my focus for this particular video. Now, what's my hope? What's my dream? Is to provide content that does help you incorporate theming into your yoga practice. Whether you're a yoga lover, you're just yoga curious, or you're a yoga teacher like I am, I believe with confidence that when you incorporate a thoughtful, thought-provoking theme that is both fun and perhaps functional, that it leaves a lasting impression on your students and makes that particular session that much more impactful. Which brings me to the first word that I chose, and that would be impact. So, why did I choose the word impact, and why do I think that this would be an impactful theme when it comes to a yoga class, right? So, we often in this life end up simply going through the motions. At least this is true for me. Most of my existence has been like, life is happening to me. I'm simply just doing what I need to be doing, right? And not really thinking about the impact or the repercussions or really the benefits of doing a thing. It's kind of like I'm just going to tick off the boxes and say that I did and move on from there. When we engage in an activity, a practice like yoga, there is definitive, real impact. And I think it is important to acknowledge that impact, right? So to bring that up in class as contemplation station and thought poetry, it's like, what has been the impact of your yoga practice on you? What has shifted or changed in your life as a result of engaging in this practice? To ask that question can be thought provoking so that someone can then go down the spiral, if you will, of fully engaging and contemplating what has changed for them. What has been the impact? Now, there's the physical impact of like, oh, well, I've been practicing yoga for a year consistently. I can do headstands now, or when I'm in airplane pose, I feel strong and balanced. I feel great. Maybe I've become more svelte, or I've noticed that my skin is brighter, or whatever it might be. I'm sleeping better. There can be a physical impact of exerting yourself in a physical way and participating in the asana. But what else has been an impact, right? Besides maybe your physical appearance or physical ability, has your mood been elevated? And to really bring attention and shine a light on that does help illuminate and bring to focus what is that impact, which I think is a really important piece of the puzzle, is that we connect the dots, right? I did this thing and this was the result. I went to this class and this is how I felt at the beginning of the class, and this is how I felt at the end of the class. And once you really bring your focus and awareness to that impact, it makes it that much more real and impactful and longer lasting when we actually acknowledge it, bring it into our awareness, and maybe even fully embody it. Like, this has been the impact of my practice. And once we do that, we are really bringing it to life. Now, for my second word, I chose inquiry. Now, there was a commercial when I was a kid. It was like, and I really don't want to name names here, but it was like, why ask why when you can drink this thing dry, right? And it was a particular beer. And it was such a catchy, like, jingle, if you will, or the catchphrase really stuck with me. But now in my later years and in my midlife, I'm like, man, that commercial is infuriating. It's like, why ask any questions when you can numb yourself? But let's not get too political here, get into my personal beliefs about these really beautiful, the seduction of distraction. But At its core, it's like, don't ask questions. I believe yoga is a practice that is rife, thick with, fully imbued with inquiry, internal inquiry. So often, again, in my life, I'm just like doing things to do them and not taking notice of like, how am I actually reacting to this, right? What's the impact? But the inquiry, asking the question, how did I feel when I came in? How do I feel now? How is the quality of my breath? What's going on in my body today? When I eat certain things, how do I feel afterwards? When I do certain things, how do I feel afterwards? Right? To engage in inquiry is a subtle form, I think, of anarchy, which I fully celebrate in this particular instance, right? When we lay out our mat and engage in the practice of yoga, the first thing I traditionally will lead a class in is like, start to observe and bring into awareness your breath, right? And not to judge or to fix or to change, but simply to inquire, to observe, to witness, right? And when we inquire, right, even that simple question of like, how do I feel today? And if you actually take the time to answer that question, well, you just might get an answer. But it takes the initial inquiry. And then comes my third word, which would be intention. Now, intentionality, that energy we bring to whatever it is that we do, is such a vital component of the practice, certainly in life in general, but certainly to the practice of yoga, right? What is the intention? What are you bringing energetically to what it is that you're doing? Now, physically, I really like to inspire this in my students, which would have also been a word I would have chosen. Gosh, inspiration, such a great word. But to fully engage and get into the movements, right? To just feel into them and fully express. And this is so like intentional. If every single step you really took time to feel your foot on the ground and feel your muscles as they engage, as you then lift up to take another step, there is something truly magical about the gift that is this body, our home for life, right? So thinking about even the intention and energy we bring to physical poses, postures, the asana in the practice of yoga, but also what is our intention beyond what can be the physical benefits of a practice like yoga? Are we looking for more calm in our life? Are we looking for less reactivity? Are we looking for more peace and fulfilling relationships? And if we can bring whatever that intention is to mind, and we imbue the entire practice with that intention, bringing it to our awareness, to the forefront of our mind, then we are staining in the best way possible the entire experience. These three words I find incredibly inspirational, right? The impact, the inquiry, what is the intention? And asking these questions and setting the tone of your yoga practice just makes it that much more, you guessed it, impactful. And that is a beautiful thing. I love it. Now, I do hope that you like this content. And if you do, click like and subscribe. Please do join me for the next video where we are going to continue along in the alphabet series. Until next time, many blessings.